All right, guys. So in this lesson, we're going to learn about array. Okay, we're going to explore some of the array methods. We have already come across array in the previous lesson, so we're just going to explain how it works. All right, so if we come out of our loops iterator and make a new directory for array, change into that directory and create an array Ruby file and then open this up in Sublime. All right, so now the first thing we're going to do is learn how to um, define an array. So let's see how that is done. So we can say we have animals local variable, and we can basically create an array of animal names. So these are all strings. So this is how we basically define an array and as well as have content into it. So now animals now has an array. All right, so if we inspect this to see what it looks like, it basically would look like this. All right, so we basically just have an array of animals in there. Okay, so next thing we're going to look at a different way of defining an array. Okay. All right, so let's put our divider in here. Okay, so this is a less painful way of writing an array. So basically say percentage word, so word array. And so without quotation marks, because these are words, we could just put the same contents in open and closing brackets, and that's it. And this would give us the same as what we did previously. So if we print that out, it gives us the same content. So this is a different way of creating an array of words. All right, so let's look at how we can get contents of arrays. So when we define an array, each content has an index starting from 0, okay, going up to -1, so the last one. Now, so if we want to print out the content antelope, we can say animals and 0. So that will print out the first element in our array. Okay, so if we did antelope 3, of course that will print out cats. Okay, so the 0, 1, 2, 3. So cat the third is the last one. All right, so that's how we target individual contents of our array. Now let's see how we can add additional content to an already defined array. Okay, so we say we're pushing into that. So if I take this animals array, all right, so we can we can save crab into it by having the double left hand sign. Now when we put animals.inspect, we want to see crab in there, and we can see we have crab there. All right, so that's how we push items into an array. All right, so let's look at how to select or how to find something inside an array, an item in an array. All right, so given that we have, so we say select array. Okay, so given that we have a word array of animals, all right, we could use a method called select. Okay, so we pipe and it yields back each, and then we say give me the one that has a size of 3. So basically it's going to give us the animal that has 3 counts of characters. So this is dog and cat. So this is how we can perform a select on an array. Okay. There's other methods that you can explore from the documentation. These are just brief intros just to get you familiar with it. Now, arrays can also be nested, so we can have arrays within arrays. Okay, let's see how to do that. So I have numbers, so I have an array, and I have an array in an array, and I have 1, 2, 4, and then I have 5, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so this is an array within an array. So 2 arrays within the main array. So if we basically then say puts numbers dot size, okay, so this will give us the number of contents in the array. In this case, it's going to give us 2. So we have one array which has 2 contents in it. All right, and there's also a method that we can use to flatten an array. So we could say flatten, and then we can inspect what was flattened. So in this case, it will flatten it, and we have every content in the same level. All right, so if you ever have a situation that you need to flatten an array, then that's how it's done. Again, you can find all this and more in the documentation. All right, so we can have a look at include. There's a method that we can use to check if an array includes or has inside it a specific element. All right, so if we take our animals array, okay, we can now say puts animals that include, and then we could give it dog. All right, so this will basically search and see if dog is included, and it is, and it says true. All right, so brackets are optional. You can also do this, and it's still, Ruby still works just as expected. Okay, now we can check if it includes fish, and we expect to be true, false. So true, yes, and then false for fish. All right, so that's a very handy method that we are going to use a lot when we start coding Ruby and so on. So we'll see this in action. All right, finally we can have empty. We could check that if an array is empty. Okay, so let's see if we define array and we basically have an empty array, we can ask animals a question. We could say, hey, animals, are you empty? Basically. Now, when we run this, we expect it to be true because the array is empty, and voila, it is true. All right, so that concludes this lesson for arrays. There's so many other methods that we have to explore. You could check, we see have map, which we've seen, you could join, and so many others. But we'll explore this as we get into Rails, Ruby on Rails, and we can see more. All right, guys, that's it for this lesson. I'll see you in the next lesson.